For the next few weeks or months, we are going to be walking through the Gospel of Mark. Now, just to give you a brief overview of this book, the Gospel of Mark is the earliest, actually, of all of the Gospels. I know that Matthew comes first in the Bible, but actually Mark was written much earlier. It was written around about between 50 to 70 AD. And the fact that it comes so early means that while this was being written, there was still actually a lot of eyewitnesses alive at that time. So through the book, you get a kind of raw sense of Jesus, a very living, a very exciting sense of those times. And really that comes down to the fact that we're getting these eyewitness accounts of Jesus, what he said, what he did, how he acted. And the book itself is called the Gospel of Mark, but actually a lot of people refer to it as Peter's Gospel, and the reason for that is, again, it's very widely believed that it's Peter who's giving this account of the life of Jesus, but it's Mark who's inscribing, it's Mark who's writing these things down. One of the early church fathers, whose name was Father Papias, he said this. He said, "Mark, having become the interpreter of Peter, wrote down accurately whatever he remembered of the things said and done by the Lord, but not in order." That's how he explained this. And so Peter is telling of all the things that happened during his time with Jesus, and Mark is writing these down. And what you'll see as we go through this, very interestingly, as Peter doesn't hold back with any of the raw details about his own life. He's very open, very blatant about his own misgivings, his own mistakes, and his own failures. And one could suggest that he really wants us to see his reality before he really received the Holy Spirit and was transformed, as we see him in the book of Acts. And this is a lively account. You're going to get a lot of words like suddenly or immediately or all of a sudden. So it's a really great gospel, this. And when one reads the book of Matthew starts very steadily with the genealogy, and then he sort of breaks us into who Jesus is. We read the Gospel of Luke, and Luke talks about Zachariah and Elizabeth. He then talks about Mary and Joseph. But here in this gospel, Mark starts straight on with Jesus. He gets right into there, into his character, into his life. And we're really going to, over these next weeks, as we unpack this gospel, we're really going to see through the eyes of Peter, through the eyes of eyewitnesses, and actually, because this is breathed upon by the Holy Spirit, through the eyes of Jesus himself, the life of Christ. Now, I said this is a short gospel, and amazingly, when you take the whole book and you look at all of the different events of Jesus's life in this book, if you were to put them all together, they would only equal 3 weeks of time. And again, if you took all of Jesus's teaching in this book and you just expounded it, if you just spoke it verbatim, it's 20 minutes of teaching. So this is it's very short and very compact. And interestingly, what Mark focuses on, or what Peter focuses on more than anything else, is the lead up to and the death of Jesus Christ. And so he has a serious agenda while writing this book. What is that agenda? He wants to reveal to us the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that brings us into verse 1 of this book, which says this: in the beginning, the good news about Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. So my prayer for us as we look into this Gospel of Mark is that we too may meet with Jesus through this word and also come to personally receive the good news of this gospel of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the Son of God.